Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 326th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, we are on the week of Redemption. Show is going to be in a couple days. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I mean, as good as can be expected. AEW feels it's hot. The TV's hot. Everything's hot. This just, and the show was great. This feels like an unnecessary pay-per-view. It feels like we should be calling this AEW Dynamite and Collision Redemption, and because we're both going to be in Detroit next year for the next week for the show, and it should like be like the first half. We should get AEW Dynamite Redemption on Wednesday and AEW Collision Redemption on Thursday, but instead they're doing it as a pay-per-view. And me personally, I'm excited for it. I'm buying every pay-per-view. I'm one of the people when they're doing their projections, I'm the number that they mark. Okay, Floyd's buying it. Austin's buying it. And they're not worried about us. But
no,
again, we'll tell you, and we'll talk about this later. It's just, I don't know if this show's a draw for the casuals.
Yeah, I mean, again, the wrestling quality is going to be unreal. That's for sure. That's always the case for AEW pay-per-views. But in terms of like storyline progression and matches and everything like that, that's going to be the big thing where people are like, well, is this going to be fully worth the time? I'm still very excited for the show. There's some matches on here that I think are going to slap. And we're going to talk about Dynamite going into this week and the go-home show, and then just touch on everything. So we're going to get into everything, of course. But before we get into the show, guys, we appreciate the support. So if you guys can continue to rate, review, subscribe, turn automatic downloads on, and continue to download this show, whether you listen to us on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you wish, and give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. And you can also follow us and catch up with us on social media, where we are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, at Social Suplex are the guys who make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I'm at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter, and sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. You can find the link for that in the description of this show. Big news of the week revolves around this show because, as you guys may know, Floyd and I, every once in a while, we like to ask of Tony Khan some things we would like to see. You know, we're a fan podcast. You know, we don't get those types of, insider things with AEW. We just We are just two guys who like talking about AEW. We don't really go and try to get our names into those rooms and stuff like that. But we do like to put it out into the ether, manifest a little bit of what we want to see from this company whenever we're having some gripes or, it's proclivity for positivity, but we always want room for improvement and stuff like that and things that we would like to be changed or added to the shows and whatnot or the storylines. And, if recency is to show us or tell us anything, it's that when we put things out there, TK and AEW listens. And Floyd can elaborate a little bit more on that. But basically, AEW, we're officially confirming they listen to the show and they are actively being like, you know what, we're going to do right by these guys. And we think they got a good point. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make these changes. So, Floyd, let the people know. I mean, this is huge news.
Yeah, so AEW kind of got, he stopped doing their Will and Aubrey podcast earlier this year. And I was always wondered why. Now I understand. We are and I'm putting quotes in there, official podcast of AEW. There's just no other way to say it. I mean, you can get some amazing takes everywhere. You can have amazing other shows. But when it comes to you wanting to get shit done, you want to see what's on the screen, you can't go anywhere but here. I was watching this week play out. And I was I brought up a few things on the show last week. And one was specifically for this test. So first thing last week I said, I was give me a reason to tell people to watch AEW Redemption, that they have to order the pay-per-view. I need something kind of big to get people to watch it. I want to tell my friends, hey, order this pay-per-view, which I definitely will do. But apparently, I don't know if it had already been announced on Collision, but it wasn't online or officially announced anywhere. They announced the team I'm referring to affectionately as Moxspray. That's Jonathan Moxley and good old Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks tag team match for Redemption. Now, if you know the history of the Young Bucks and AEW and kind of throwing together tag teams, so let me just throw this in there. Hangman and Kenny Omega, Hangman and Swerve Strickland. They weren't two of the best tag team matches in AEW history. Those were two of the best tag team matches in wrestling history. Now you add Jonathan Moxley, one of the, he's not considered part of the elite, but he is definitely one of the pillars of that introduction to AEW. He's been there since the beginning. Tony Khan says, I guess he's the only person that has been to almost as many shows as him. So, John Moxley. And then Will Ospreay, who does not know what a bad match is. So, versus maybe the greatest tag team of all time. The floor for this match is a Meltzer 5 stars. That's the floor. That is the floor. If they go out there and they do their thing, and there's no major, nobody gets injured, there's no major things, it's probably at minimum going to get 5 stars. So thank you, because I was able to tell it. I was like, well, there's going to be a generational tag team match on the show. I was able to sell a few people on the fact that there's going to be a generational tag team match on this show. That was number one. You're not going to get this much commentary on all the other ones. Number two, I was like, how do you have Proto Kata and Brodito in the ring together last week and you don't announce a match? About an hour, maybe 2 hours before Dynamite, they announced Proto Kata versus Brodito. I'm 2 for 2. Number three, I was like, dude, how haven't we got any information on the Fan Fest or any type of programs or meet and greets in UK? You're leaving money on the table. How have we not gotten this? Fan Fest details came out. Welcome to Wembley. AEW Fan Fest got announced, and it's in the gates of Wembley, and there's 5 different sessions. If you understand what access It used to be in WWE before Fanatics got. It sounds like it's just going to be, you can get it each session, and then each session is going to have a certain amount of people, and you're going to be able to get pictures, meet and greets, and all that stuff. And it's only, I think it was 60 pounds per session. So, or oh my God, it's 60 pounds per session. It depends on which side you're on that one.
Yes.
And last but not least, and this was the one that was test. My friend Tyler Ballman, my guy from Indianapolis, says, why haven't we got Jay White stuff yet? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, you're the golden goose, which is what he calls me, which is,
yes.
Yeah, he's like, you're the golden goose. So I need you to say it on the show so we can get some new Jay White merch. So specifically for him, last week, I said, hey, what the fuck's up? Why haven't we got Jay White shirt? I was like, it could just say Switchblade is back or Switchblade is back, and put the damn shirt out there. Not only did they put out a Switchblade Jay White shirt, it says Switchblade is back on it. My exact wording from the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they put out an autograph for Rob Schergenberger print. They actually put out Switchblade merch this week. If you are a Switchblade fan, you're welcome. So I gotta be like, one, coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I will do that. Two, bigger coincidence, but still a coincidence.
Yes.
3 for 3. I don't think this is coincidence anymore.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this seems a little bit too on the nose, if we're being honest here, guys.
4 for 4. Someone's fucking listening to the show, and
yes,
I appreciate your patronage. I appreciate you listening to the show, whoever you are. I am not asking for anything. I don't need you to even acknowledge that you listen to the show, because the results is the acknowledgement. Now,
yes.
I'm a big person on parallel thought. I do think two people can see the same thing and come to the same idea independently of each other. But good Lord, 4 for 4? 4 for 4?
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the show, and I messaged Austin. I was like, what? Because I couldn't believe that I hit on every one of them. I don't know. And it was just like, this is what you get from the show. We are a fan podcast. We say that. We are not media. We don't ever ask for credentials. We are just two guys that watch the show and give us our thoughts on it. And you like, man, I know more about AEW than you. Probably. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not an expert. I'm an expert as in I put in a lot of hours and time into this show, and I do tend to remember details people don't remember.
Yes.
But if you're like, I watch Dynamite 4 times a week so I don't miss anything. Oh, you got it, brother. Cause you win. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I watch it, and like if I get distracted by work or I get distracted by JR, I might go back and watch a match or two again. Because they used to happen more, so I used to watch the show 2 times a week. But now I kind of got my system down. I block out my time, and generally maybe have to go back and watch a match, but never, the whole show again. And so if you're like sitting there like, yep, I do this. I'm on the social media. I was on Tony Khan's media scrum. I watch every hour and minute of ROH every week. Hey, bro. You might know more. You probably know more than me, because I do. Again, I limit the amount of wrestling I intake so I don't get burnt out on it. That's me. And then Austin, he has a real fucking job. He just doesn't have time to consume everything.
Yeah.
And so, and when I say real fucking job, he actually has to go out and meet people. He doesn't I sit in a chair in front of a computer all day next to my two really, really large TVs, my PlayStation and my PlayStation 5. So let you know, it's like I will quote unquote work, but whatever. I love this, so I love, because I always say that I love that we have our two different perspectives, because I'm in my 40s. You're right at 30.
Yeah, about 30? Yeah, 29. Turn 30 in January.
There you go. You turn 30 in January. So you get two very different perspectives. But a lot of times when it comes to things that can help the company, we pretty much see eye to eye on. We might not be like, hey, I might be rooting for MJF and he might be rooting for Hangman or however that goes. But in general, when it comes to what's best for the company, we're on the same page. So on those 4 things, well, 3 of the 4, we were like, okay, these need to be addressed. The 4th one, again, was just a test from Tyler. Yes. He's like, let's just see if it'll happen. And then it happened. I am cackling because I was like, oh my God. Because I was like, there's no way this is going on. And then it happened. So, yes, you are listening to the right show. You want shit done. You want shit done. And if we agree with it, at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, hit your boys up.
Hit your boys.
But understand, if you say some stupid shit, like anything involving MJF not being with the company or losing, yeah, I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to ignore it and delete it. And be like, you were like, oh, he's showing on red. Yes, because you said some stupid ass shit. I love me some MJF.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we don't build ourselves up too much, but this is a very cool thing, and you should shout out your boys. Being able to have this type of poll. Like, we don't try to have this type of poll. This is just naturally taking place. So,
yeah, it's like hitting for the cycle on a video game. Of course, it's a video game. But I still want you to be like, hey, man, that's pretty cool. That's kind of, we don't want a parade, but hey, that's pretty cool. We'll take that.
We'll take that every day. Every day. On that note, though, we'll go ahead and we'll get into our AEW Dynamite review, which took place in Nashville, Tennessee. Show opened up. Backstage segment with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay talking about the main event, the trios match they have, which will have them teaming up with Jon Moxley against the Don Callis family. He's like, we're undefeated as a team. But, Kenny, you got a little bit tired the last time that we teamed, so if you need to rest, especially, just tag out to me, basically. And Kenny's like, I mean, you also have a big match on Sunday, so you can reach out and tag out to me if you need to. And Mox is just like, and then just kind of quickly gets out of there. And then Kenny's like, there's no tension here. And Moxley's presence may have just brought some tension into the mix here. And then we go into the opening match, which was the TNT Championship. The Jet, Kevin Knight, defending his title against a Red Hot. Came in pissed after last week where Kenny was giving Kevin Knight way too much leeway, basically. And he's like, this dude needs to be taught a lesson, and I'm going to teach him a lesson. So Darby Allin wanted to make sure he taught him a lesson and try to claim back that TNT championship from the Jet, Kevin Knight. And honestly opened up with a pretty damn good matchup, if we're being honest. I mean, Darby, of course, that's my guy. Their level of physicality was strong, of course. There's always going to be at least one spot where Darby basically dies. They love doing the spot where Darby's face goes through the steps, where they do the sling blade, basically, where he throws him up and pulls him from his feet and throws him up and knocks his face through the steel steps. I swear I've seen him do that at least a few times already, but it's very entertaining. They fought their way up towards the ramp, and Darby got basically thrown nuts first onto the guardrail. The dive from the top rope to Kevin Knight leaning on the barricade where they fall over the table was damn good. And the shot of everyone in the crowd losing their minds after that spot was awesome. And Darby, of course, the dude just flew out the gate, was so ready to get after Jet. But as the match goes on, though, Darby Allin's able to get some momentum, gets a code red off of the top rope, tries to take him out, but hits another code red, can't get the pinfall. Darby then takes Kevin Knight's arm, shoves it into the ring post, and then just starts elbowing it as he's got his arm trapped. But then the coast to coast from the Jet, and then you have, I always forget the name of his finisher, but it's so fucking cool. But you have the UFO splash is what it's called, and then he goes through and gets the moment after the referee gets knocked down, and is able to make the 3 count. But basically, Darby was going to use the TNT title on him, did not do that. But then Kevin Knight was able to take the belt and hit it on to the back of Darby's head while the ref was still out. Set up the UFO splash and get the win. But then after the match was over, Protostar and Kyle Fletcher and Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada were heading down to the ring. And there was a little bit of tension between Protostar and Kevin Knight, which we'll talk about in the next segment. But good opening match, I thought. Really did a good job of setting the stage. And, Darby trying to get a little bit back after Kevin Knight and giving him a big win going into the match against Kenny Omega.
Dude, Kevin Knight is main event level in this company as far as work. Like, if anybody has a question on his work, I would ask, what are you saying? You know what I mean? His work is there. And they've done, like, his build has been probably one of my favorite things in AEW. It's just, I think it's been pretty flawless in how they've built Kevin Knight. So I am looking I thought this match was like another feather in his cap, or to be like, okay, this is why you should, be all your stock should be in Kevin Knight right now. Yeah, so that's what I saw from the match.
Yeah, I mean, he's really trying to push himself. And again, we talked about how going into this match with Kenny Omega, how Kevin didn't feel like he's even remotely at the level that of a main event AEW World Championship match going into it. But this is kind of just give him that real push of showcasing like this guy can fight main event level talent, can get good performances, and can have momentum going into this match. So this was the big point of that. I think they did a good job of really selling that, and I think it'll lead to a great main event at Redemption. So immediately we go ahead and there's some backstage segments for Kevin Knight and Kyle Fletcher. The entire Don Callis family is in the ring, and then Mark Davis basically says, I'll only have a national championship match at Redemption if Andrade El Idolo can scrape himself off the Fenway floor where I left him last week. Renee Paquette then talks to Kevin Knight and, talks about the title match. And Kevin Knight said he's going to be Jet 2 belts on Sunday. He's like, I have 10 TNT title defenses. I hold the record for most defenses in a single reign, formerly held by Kyle Fletcher, and I did it without the family. Fletcher, not too happy, takes the mic and then basically says, you're impressive. I hope you become Jet 2 belts and beat Kenny, but I don't need the family either, and I'm going to ask everyone to be banned for ringside for my international title match against Bandito at Redemption. And in fact, my match is next, so how about everybody get out of here right now and get out of my ring? And these guys are kind of staring each other down a little bit, and then eventually they move on, and then we get the tag match between Brodito and Protokata. Now, we asked for this match. I know you especially were pushing for this match to happen, and we got it, and it was a banger. I mean, two tag teams that are just fucking on. Like, Brodito, obviously, former tag team champions. Protokata, we've talked about how much those two should just be, like, they can tag together anytime they want, and they're always phenomenal. The moment of just beating up on Brody King, I loved, but then all of a sudden he accidentally gets Kazuchika accidentally Rainmakers Kyle Fletcher, and he's like, I'm not too sad about that, and then proceeds to get elbowed in the face by Brody. There's a moment where there's a lot of hype into the match. He looks like he's going to get the 21 Plex and then get the win on Kyle Fletcher. Big pin, honestly, for Bandito to get the pin on Kyle Fletcher going into Redemption. Very big moment there for him. So if that happens, of course, dude becomes a new international champion.
I know it was a tag match, but me and JR were both happy to know that Bandito, the ROH World Champion, is capable of winning a match on Dynamite.
Hey, listen, dude.
I didn't think it was possible.
He needed one going into this match, dude. He needed one because, I mean, for God's sakes, we're out here looking at Bandito's record as of late. It's been on Dynamite.
I mean, he has won on Dynamite, but he has a Dax level record of in singles matches when he's on the big card. ROH, he's unstoppable, unbeatable, inhuman. But yeah, I don't know what happens, When he gets on that AEW show, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to wrestle anymore. I'm losing everybody. I'm just saying I mean, if I was like somebody in ROH, I'd be like, I demand my match happen on Dynamite or Collision. Because
I want to increase my odds.
Yeah, I want my odds. I'm like, you don't lose on ROH, but you lose on Dynamite and Collision all the time. So that's where I want my match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, but no, it was a really cool match. Again, 4 guys incapable of having a bad match. I am of the idea that the match at Wembley, and of course I could be wrong, is going to be Kyle Fletcher versus Okada versus Takeshita. I think for the international title 3-way match. That's what I think the match is going to be. So with this, him saying he's going to be the greatest international champion and Okada giving him looks, and, Kyle Fletcher seems like he's really trying to cement himself, even though he's not using the words, because you can do stuff in wrestling without the words, as the leader of the Don Callis family. He is trying to say, I'm the ace. I'm the captain of this. I gave up my boyfriend for this, okay? So there you go.
Good deal.
It's big. He gave his wrestling husband, is what he called him. He gave that up for this. So he's going to do everything he can to keep it. And him and Bandito, the people use the term steal the show. But when something's so obviously good, can it steal a show? Or can it just be what everybody thinks it's going to be?
Right.
Because to me, show stealer is like, okay, well, you're kind of somewhere in the middle of the card. You're not the main event. I didn't see this great thing happen. I think every person that watches AEW knows Kyle Fletcher and Bandito is about to be a fucking banger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really going to steal the show. It's going to just prove everybody saying it right. But you got this match, and then you got, again, Mock Spray versus the Young Bucks. Like, I don't know which one's going to end up higher rated between those two matches. It's pretty amazing.
It's going to be a very interesting one, because I feel like those matches specifically could measure up to.
Yeah.
I don't want to say possible match of the year candidates on this show, but there's possibility of it. I mean, I feel like that's always possible with AEW pay-per-views, but with those 3, I think those are immediately like within the conversation if they pull it off.
Absolutely.
And then after the match is over, there was a moment where the family tries to gang up on Brodito. But then before that could happen, Andrade comes out and points at Mark Davis, chases him off. Basically, they run off. We have a quick little Painmaker video package before going into an in-ring segment where Tekla, the AEW Women's World Champion, and Will Nightingale, come out and are hosted a face-to-face face-off, basically, by Mick Foley, making his first AEW Dynamite appearance, I believe.
Yeah. I didn't know that was his first appearance, but now that you said it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was his first appearance. Yeah.
For sure. So Mick Foley facilitates this whole thing, and they bring up, of course, going in Women's World Championship match. Tekla has Julia Hart and Sky Blue, the Sisters of Sin there. They're all wearing their Artist of Stardom titles that they won, shouts out. And then they get sent to the back, basically. And then Tekla coming out being like Tekla 2 belts. I'm telling you right now, man, this 2 belts thing, I'm getting very, 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 very tired of everyone calling them something 2 belts. I feel like everybody tries to make that a thing, and it's just like,
it's almost an AEW thing, because I just don't see a lot of people calling themselves that 2 belts until recently.
The only one outside of it was Becky, and like I think again, okay. Becky Lynch at least had the alliteration to work with it. You know what I mean?
Yes, Becky 2 belts. Yeah, so yeah,
Jet 2 belts at least is like quick. Tekla 2 belts, I'm like, all right, we're pushing here, guys.
Well, Tekla 2, you got the rhyme.
Tekla 2, yes, that is there at least. So
yeah, I know. I just like, the term double champ. It's become the hot way to say that, and I was just like, oh, okay. I don't understand why everybody wants to have more than one title. I really don't.
Right.
But
it's more work you got to do to defend those things.
Shit's heavy. You got to go through security. Like, what the hell?
I was just gonna say, people are gonna be asking you what you do for a living. Tekla though basically talks about how it's good to have Willow back, and you're made of rainbows and sunshine and birds chirping, but you're talking to the toxic one. She doesn't believe in smiling anyways, and you're wearing a mask to hide her true feelings, which means she's just poison inside. So she's like, I'm going to beat the poison out of you to show everyone how ugly Willow really is. Willow says Tekla's toxic act is all a facade. She talks so big because she feels so small, and it's working because she does have 2 belts, because of course, then, she comes in and says basically that AEW Women's World title, that's the only one I care about, and I'm going to Tekla's just going to be a shortcut for me to get to it. And Willow, obviously some tension there. Foley gets between them to stop them from getting physical. Foley says he sees a lot of himself in Willow. I love Foley, like his 2 major promos with Darby and now with Willow. Both of them have been like, I see a lot of myself in you. And I'm just like, man, Foley got a lot of like twins here that he's very much enjoying talking to, because
yes, the people's champs. That's what he sees as himself in there.
Yes. Yeah. And he goes, basically, they're both champion. They were both champions on TBS. They both took a beating and smiled anyway. But Willow's smile had a bit more teeth. Tekla told Foley to shut up, and Willow said enough with disrespecting him. And she's like, you're the one acting like a dumb bitch now. And everyone was like, whoa, Willow actually says a bad word. She's like, Foley's a legend and one of my favorites, but I'm done. But he's done some sick, twisted things to get the job done. I'll do the same to Tekla. At Redemption, they'll both have to lose everything because they both want to walk into All In as champion. Willow says she'll put every bit of her blood into making that happen. And that's when Tekla gets taken aback. And then after she goes and says, you know what? You want to talk like that? After I bloody you, your dreams will be shattered and your clouds will be pissed on. And she's like, you just need to remember, though, one thing afterwards. She goes, smile anyway, and then attacks her fully, then separates the two. Tekla then turns around, hits Willow on the side of the head with a mic, then follows Willow down the ramp, turns around, flips Foley off, and then takes her belts and then poses with them, and then looks to whip Willow with one of the belts, but then Willow pounces her out of the ring, knocks her out of there. Very, very well done, honestly. I thought that was well done. I also love, too, that, like, Foley now has his own shirt on shop.com, but it's not weird enough, I feel like. With the shirts that Foley wears to TV, I want them to be as weird as what Foley wears to TV.
Yeah, because he was wearing a Santa shirt this week.
Yes.
And that's his whole thing. He loves Christmas.
He loves Christmas.
Like, I like Christmas. He loves Christmas. Because I used to think I loved Christmas. And then Mick Foley, Santa Claus 24/7, had to go out there and destroy my thoughts. I was like, I can't even be the number one Christmas guy. He's got this on lock. And no, it's this whole segment. Tekla right now is probably, and this is saying a lot for me because of who I tend to like. She's probably my favorite promo in wrestling because you literally have no idea what she's gonna say.
Yeah,
I don't think she fully knows what she's going to say when she goes out there. Like, she has the outline. She maybe have a pithy line that she's supposed to get in there. But I think everything in between that, she could talk about taking a strap on to you. She could talk about, like, loads of everything somehow sounds really sexual coming out of her mouth. No matter what she says, it does not matter. I mean, I and I thought it's like, I asked women friends, because I was like, maybe I'm just a broke brain guy. I accept that that's possible. Maybe I'm just a broke brain dude. And they're like, no, everything she sounds sexual. She sounds like she's going to beat you up. And she sounds like, oh, yeah, I want to bang you too, which is hilarious. And then, of course, Willow's there. And I try to stop short of saying how exceptionally looking I find that woman. But good Lord, she had the jumper on with the heels. I was like, okay, Okay, Floyd, we're watching a wrestling show here.
Yep.
We're just watching a wrestling show. Got to listen to what everybody says, talk about it. And I'm able to break that down, and I'm able to stick to it. But good Lord, that woman fine. I just have to say it every now and then just so y'all will understand. Sure. Just so y'all understand that it's like absolute wrestling crush. Female wrestling crush, Oba exists for me.
Of course.
My Oba exists. This was everything you wanted to be built up. If let's say this was All In was next week and they cut that segment, I was like, that would have been a hot segment for All In. I feel like it's to me, because of what it means for Wembley, this is the biggest match on Redemption. Tekla versus Willow. So,
sure.
It means the most, right? Because Mercedes is guaranteed, and it's whoever's champion is going to fight Mercedes, which, of course, is a huge thing. You kind of know how the other stuff's going to go. So this match with Willow and Tekla is like the biggest match on the show this week.
Totally. Absolutely. Quick little video segment from Maya World and Will Nightingale versus Tekla and Hikaru Shida for Collision. Of course, teasing Maya World versus Hikaru Shida for Redemption for the TBS Championship. Then we go ahead into Switchblade Jay White versus 100 Proof Clark Connors. Clark thought he did a pretty damn good job. The spear he gave through the ropes onto the ramp looked like it was a really rough fall for Jay, just to try to sell that. There's a moment where Clark is being a dickhead and patting Jay on the head and gouges his eyes out, and then proceeds to line him up, make a little joking dance and kind of pointing his hands into the air and just doing a little bit of a dance. And then, Jay's gets to suck it and then shoulder charges into his head. But then eventually Jay White is able to avoid a spear from Clark Connors and then catch him into a submission. It makes him tap out. Afterwards, though, a shillelagh is involved, of course, because David Finlay comes in and knocks Jay White in the head after Connors tries to go after him from behind. And then that's when the rest of the Bang Bang Gang comes out. Juice Robinson has a chain, is swinging it around, and then they pull him into the crowd and get out of the way. Good match. I thought it was a solid match. The Bang Bang Gang being pushed, I think, is very solid. I think, and the submission counter for the finish was a really, honestly good spot. Something different that you don't see too often. So it was nice to see.
Oh, okay. So, two things. First of all, Maya World, I would like her maybe picking up some wins, maybe being like a Collision Fatal 4-Way to earn the TBS title match. I know TBS and TNT titles are closer to open challenge titles, so you really don't have to earn a shot at those titles, but I would have kind of liked it in this case to keep Maya World hot because it feels like, oh, she's getting another match with Hikaru Shida, and like I said, because of kind of how it was announced, it doesn't feel like anything's going to happen, but we'll see. Then in the match, Jay White, fan thing to Jay White. This is not really something I stole from James Boyd, but this was an idea he threw out there, and I was like, I'm going to talk about that on the show. So if he has covered it on One Nation Radio, shout out to him. This was his original thought. Jay White has been a heel his whole career. He's been the bad guy. And when he rolls out the ring, he does the slow potting pace. He never lets you hit in his finisher, all that kind of stuff. And how he works, to me, I enjoy how he works. It is perfect for a heel. He takes the good guys are moving too fast. He takes over the momentum. He always seems in control of the match. And that is perfect for a heel. But right now, he is in the Bang Bang Gang with a bunch of good guys. He is the face. People are cheering him. People want to breathe with the switchblade. People want to yell guns up. He wants to do all that stuff. Cool. You have to adjust your wrestling style to a babyface style. I watched this match. It was fine, but because Jay White was working that very slow and methodical side, the fans got out of it. And you're the babyface. You're responsible for keeping the fans into it. Mm-hmm. The heels are supposed to slow it down, and it's supposed to get kind of boring. And then your offense is supposed to go boom, 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 and get the crowd back into it. Jay White's offense really doesn't work that way. And then the thing that they're most looking forward to, and I'm talking about during the match, you end up ending the move with a submission that was kind of boring. And again, if you were a heel, would have worked perfectly. But since you're a good guy, I need you to watch tapes of good guys and kind of work like a good guy. Okay? That's how it has to happen because you have to keep the crowd into it. You got to have them throwing the guns up before you hit a move or something like that. Again, fans' perspective, just talking because a lot of people were like, oh my God, this match is boring. While I was watching it, I was looking at, Discords and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, people were like, this match is kind of slow. And that being the case, I think Jay White you have to work for your reaction because you are on the good guy side of things right now. So that's just, I don't know if you even noticed it. It was something I noticed and I thought it was just me. Maybe I was tired during the match. Then I see James, who's much more critical and much more, like he'll point out things he doesn't like. And he said that. And I was like, man, that's a great idea. So if Boyd brought this up on One Nation Radio, all credit to him. It was because he gave me the idea. It's just, the dude needs to learn how to work babyface.
I think that is honestly a pretty decent point. I think still Jay, he can work babyface. He just kind of really didn't do it in this match. I think it was more so fiending a little bit for him to get a bit of a comeback too. So
everybody was waiting on him to come back, and it was just like you had to build it up, and you didn't have this comeback match, and 5 moves of doom or whatever the hell you want to do. A lot of people. There's a lot of ways to get results from the fans, and I just felt like this match was kind of flat, and it was just like with your comeback match, coming back with your shirt, all that kind of stuff. You come back with a little bit more of exciting of an finisher. The match should end with the Blade Runner. And I know you're trying to get your submission over, and it's like, well, if you're working like, hey, one of those in-action matches on Collision, hey, choke that guy out. But this first match against your rivalry, go ahead and hit that switchblade. Maybe try to establish the submission move afterwards. Try to get over the fact that you can hit the Blade Runner out of anywhere. Whatever you got to do. Like I said, I don't feel like, I know first match back, all that kind of shit. I felt like there was something to be desired as far as a babyface, someone that you eventually want to cheer for.
For sure.
But I loved heel.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Jay White. I've always was a Jay White fan.
I mean, that dude's always been unbelievable as a heel. That's the thing.
Yeah, and he was and that was the whole thing. It's like, I love how he works perfectly as a heel, as me being a heel fan. Because he's supposed to take the air out of the building. That's his job. You're not supposed to take the air out of the building as a babyface.
Absolutely. So we go ahead and we have a backstage segment. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are talking about last week's World Title Championship defense. As they were talking, though, Claudio Castagnoli and Pac jump him, sneak attack. Death Riders basically use the road case, throwing him around. Pac is screaming, basically, you bit off more than they can chew, and then just left him lying. Get a little bit of heat going into their tag team title match as they try to build a little momentum, which is necessary because I don't think there's any way anyone thinks Christian and Cope are losing this match.
Yes. Like this is one of those matches. Again, and it's most of the matches on the card. You're just hoping for a banger match because the result's not in question.
Yes.
And I thought this was really cool, though. But I do love me some Claudio, love me some Pac. Like I said, I would have loved for them to build up a young tag team. Maybe, the Rascals, the Infantry. I throw out the tag teams all the time that has been working as a tag team instead of Claudio and Pac, who I have been pitching for a tag team for about a year now. And I wanted them to be a tag team, but I would have loved them to, actually tag together and get a few wins on Dynamite or Collision before getting a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's just, I don't know.
For sure. We then go ahead into a Women's World Tag Team Championship match. No disqualifications between Divine Dominion, Lana Cross and Megan Bayne versus the Sisters of Sin, Sky Blue and Julia Hart. Shouts out to Divine Dominion coming out in hockey jerseys. Those looked fucking badass.
Everybody wants them online on Shop AEW. Yeah, you should probably do that. I think you would see a lot of people wearing them. Again, like the many things you've done with Blacksmith or whatever, smart thing to do. Put them out. Say we're going to take pre-orders. And then sell them like that.
Speaking of which, the teases for the jerseys from Blacksmith for the Will Ospreay's Wembley series that they're putting out, his jerseys look fucking sick. They look so goddamn cool. So I'm very, very, very excited for those ones. So I would love these as well because God damn it knows I need another fucking jersey. Match starts with Divine Dominion posing, but then getting jumped by the Sisters of Sin with kendo sticks. But eventually they're able to fight them off, take the kendo sticks for themselves. Kind of going into a bit of putting Divine Dominion in a babyface spot in this match. There's a moment where Julia Hart accidentally knocks down Sky Blue. Megan Bayne took a fucking chair and pinned Sky Blue in the corner with one, picks up another chair, and then rockets a chair onto Sky Blue, like just heaves the thing at her, and then kicks her feet up. Shit looked like it sucked. It looked like it hurt so bad. Sisters of Sin would respond with a double power bomb through a table at the top of the ramp. But as the match went on, there was a big spot where Sky Blue tries to take Lana Cross and superplex her off the top rope through a table. Megan Bayne catches her and slams her through the table and choke slams her down. And then a double choke slam from Divine Dominion, pinning Julia Hart, and they defend their titles. So, yeah, kind of worked a little bit babyface in this match, but, I mean, you're going against the Sisters of Sin, understandable at least, but just continuing to showcase the dominance of Divine Dominion, and honestly, pretty good good match. I thought it was a good title defense for the girls. Love it whenever they get opportunities to do women's no DQ or extreme matches or hardcore matches, basically, because I feel like anytime the girls are given an opportunity to showcase their creativity for hardcore matches, they always do a great job, and this was no exception, I feel like.
I completely agree with you. I thought this match was really great. Perfect placement for it. It was, to me, it was a pay-per-view match on Dynamite. Like, if this was a part of Redemption, I'd be like, oh, man, that's a great ad for Redemption. So we got a pay-per-view match on Dynamite, and I thought everybody performed amazingly in this match.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we go ahead and we move on into a quick little moment where backstage, the Bang Bang Gang says they want a double chain tag team match with the Dogs at Redemption. So Juice Robinson bringing out that chain was for a very specific reason. So they want it to be a double chain match between the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs. So, Floyd, for the uninitiated, do you want to explain a double chain match?
So, because somebody asked, is this a dog collar match? And the best way I could say is no, because in a chain match, you're generally the chains are around your arms or wrist. It's you think lumberjack match, where it's around your arms and you got to touch the corners or whatever. So this is basically tying each other. It's basically going to be a street fight, but chained together. Generally the person that gets the pinfall wins the match in this situation. It's not a dog collar match. It's like I said, a dog collar match is on the wrist, which actually would have made more sense because they've been saying they were going to take the dogs and they were going to neuter them and all that stuff. So it seems like they were working towards a dog collar match, but then they decided to call it a chain match. So I don't know the reasoning for which reason they chose this instead of the other thing, but it's still going to be a banger. It's a super violent match. And honestly, I thought something, definitely something that could help sell a few more tickets to the show as far as, a few more online buys for the show.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that for sure. We then go ahead into the main event, trios match between Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, and Jon Moxley versus the Don Callis family with Brian Cage, Hechicero, and Jake Doyle. And I think it was a fine enough end to this go-home show. I think it was, I thought Hechicero, I love the early part of the match where Will Ospreay is just like, who are you going to tag? You going to tag John? You going to tag me? And Will's just like, fucking tag him. Like, listen, you said you wanted us to, take our breathers and stuff like that. Get Moxley into this goddamn match. And Ospreay wants Kenny to work with Mox, and he's just like, fucking see, was that too goddamn hard? So that was good. Ospreay once again was like, who do I tag? Who do I tag? Do I tag Moxley? Do I tag Kenny Omega? And he chooses Kenny Omega. Moxley's a little bit like, okay. But eventually, as the match goes on, Kenny Omega accidentally gets a V-trigger in the face to Jon Moxley because of Hechicero dodging and getting out of the way. They're triple teaming on Kenny Omega, basically pulling him up into a massive forearm from Jake Doyle. But the Hidden Blade V-trigger combo, which fuck me running, is such a good combo. I still think the combo between the Hidden Blade and the House Call is the best combo. That combo is so good just watching that. But regardless, the double team there, they get the victory. Kenny tries to shake Moxley's hand after the match. And Jon Moxley's kind of talking a little bit, gives him a little shove, and then Kenny gives a shove back. They go a little head-to-head. Ospreay gets in the middle of it, tries to separate everybody. Hey, let's all be friends. Kenny is still getting very much into this, but then Will Ospreay gets knocked down and then shoves Kenny Omega. They're yelling at each other a little bit. And that's when the Young Bucks come out, and they're like, hey. And then Matt Jackson gets directly into the face of Jon Moxley at this point and gets pushed to the ground. And that's when Nick Jackson elbows him. Ospreay jumps on Nick Jackson. Matt Jackson jumps on Jon Moxley. Kenny's trying to separate. Jake Doyle comes back in and just gets dropped. But then Nick Jackson starts going after Ospreay, and then it's just a whole hoorah, and then that's how the show kind of gets to the point where then Kenny Omega proceeds to have Trent and Rocky Romero looking like they're going to get him as he tries to take out more of the family. But then Jet 2 Belts, or who wants to be Jet 2 Belts, Kevin Knight, jumps up and knocks down Kenny Omega with the TNT Championship off of a UFO splash with the belt, and then proceeds to grab both the TNT title and the AEW World title and pose with them over Kenny Omega. And that's when the show ends with him stepping on Kenny and then posing with the belts right next to Kenny Omega. That is the closing moment of Dynamite for this show. Again, solid enough end. I thought the whole who should he tag part was just kind of silly for the most part, but it honestly didn't bother me too much. But solid enough trios match to close it out, leading into, like I said, a show that overall the excitement's not crazy there, if we're being straight, but I think it's going to still deliver some unbelievable matches, if we're being honest.
I mean, AEW pay-per-views do what AEW pay-per-views do.
Correct.
It's going to be, like, the quality is never the question. It's just like I said, is it enough to keep the same number of people buying the shows as normal? Because honestly, this doesn't feel like a show where you're trying to gain anything. You're just trying to get your same amount of buyers that you get every time. It's like,
sure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're not, there's no reason to really worry about the other parts of it. It's just, hey, if you can get however many, I mean, I think it's 125,000. I think that's the low number no matter what. That's your core fan base that always gets the show. If you get that, you're great. You're gravy, because this match, just like I said, they're not really giving you something a lot. They're giving you basically what has been even represented this year. If you watch Darby's run, this type of match has been more of a main event of a Dynamite match instead of a main event of a pay-per-view match. So they've given us so many world titles on Dynamite. You're like, oh, like you're giving us, but pretty much it's the beach break main event, and this main event seems to be switching places. So let's go. I think, like I said, I don't have any problem with the quality of the show, except it's in this weird area where, right before All In, which is next month, where it's like, well, they're not going to change too much going into All In,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's pretty much, for the most part, set in stone, that's for sure. So, I mean, again, it's just...
And I know they won't, because we've watched enough, we have enough places or enough empirical evidence to know they won't do it. But if this was me, Willow and Thekla would be the main event of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is the perfect time to do it, because I don't think the main event of the show is the big selling point of the show. So people, if you take it out of this time and say, hey, I'm going to do Willow and Thekla as the main event, you'll give a chance to say, okay, this is one of the first women's matches to main event a show. Plus, it's not going to really hurt. No one's going to be like, if the show doesn't do well, no one's going to be like, well, it's because of Willow and Thekla, because we wouldn't know it's the main event until the day of the show.
Yes.
So there you go.
There you go. That was AEW Dynamite. In terms of Collision for this Saturday, you've got Young Bucks versus Death Riders with Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. Maya World and Willow Nightingale will be teaming up to face Tekla and Hikaru Shida, of course, which was mentioned there. Persephone, the CMLL World Women's Champion, is going to be in action. Tommaso Ciampa is going to face off against Zachary Wentz. And, I believe... Excuse me, I feel sneeze. Excuse me. I believe that's everything. Nope, actually, the World Trios titles are going to be defended. The conglomeration defending their Trios titles against Dalton Castle and the Outrunners.
Yeah, I heard that was a really funny match.
Yeah, so.
I heard it's a funny match. You'll be one of the funniest matches you ever saw.
For sure. So there's that. Yeah. And then you have Leo Rush facing off against El Clon in a 6-way ladder match qualifier against for the International Championship number 1 contendership. Nick Wayne versus AR Fox as well, in one of those as well. And then the Lethal Twist Trios Tag Team match against Skyflight was another one as well that was there for that show. So
yeah, Skyflight, including this time Matt Seidel's in the Skyflight.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're a Matt Seidel fan, this is
show some respect to Matt Seidel, god damn it.
Yes.
That dude is damn good. So yeah, Collision though, sounds like from everybody who was there, it's a good show. So definitely check it out this Saturday night. And now I think we can go ahead and move directly into our Redemption predictions and preview, basically going into that.
Okay, so at this point, when we get to the ladder match, we're going to go ahead and spoil who won.
Yes.
So if you really you want to watch Collision first before listening to the show, you can listen to it after, because we're not going to do a show before the pay-per-view. So we're just going to talk. We're basically doing it live. So I gave you the heads up.
Yes.
So
So we go ahead and we get into the card. First, we have our buy-in. We're going to have a celebration, first of all, of 80 years of the Rougeau wrestling family. So
Rougeau.
Sorry, I always forget that it's Rougeau. Yeah,
I got you,
these
boo.
damn Canadians, dude. I knew it should have been. It was probably that, but I was just like, God damn it. So the Rougeau wrestling dynasty is going to be celebrated. So they're going to have that take place. And then we'll go ahead. We'll just lead off then with the 6-way ladder match for the shot at the international title. So, Floyd, do you want to go through and name those names?
Okay. Hold on just a second. I had it in front of me, and then I clicked off of it, and then that's on me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you right now. So it's Jack Perry versus Nick Wayne versus the Beast Mortos versus Mike Bailey versus Commander versus El Clon. So Nick Wayne and El Clon get the win on Collision. And 6-way match between those guys. Basically, anybody but Jack.
I'm going with Speedball.
I think Speedball is probably the play, just because I think it feels right to give this dude a bit of a push, considering the move to have Kevin Knight jump up into the world title picture. I think Speedball would be the play.
And he's from Montreal, so that was my reasoning.
Totally.
Yeah, that was my reasoning for it. Tony Khan does find a way to do the big hometown pop for every show, and I think this is going to be the hometown pop for this show.
We would love to see it. Shout out also, I would say, Nick Wayne would be a fun one. I think Nick Wayne would be a fun choice too, but I think Mike Bailey is the play, though. We then have no holds barred between the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, or Painmaker Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. He's bringing out the goddamn gimmick, so I guess Jericho's going to win this match, but we'll see. I'm more so interested because I feel like this should be the conclusion to this storyline, so then I can figure out exactly what the F we're doing with Jericho moving forward, because at this point, if this is kind of the route that we're going with Jericho, with this being his this feud, obviously, and then kind of bouncing off of this, I'm like, what does Chris Jericho for the remainder of 2026 look like? Because honestly, the Painmaker gimmick does not have the sauce that it used to have. So I don't know. I think it should be solid, but I'll pick Painmaker.
And I don't think the Painmaker gimmick has ever lost. So
pretty sure that's the case, yeah. Yes. Or at least the idea would be that.
Yeah, so if that's the case, I'm going with the Painmaker. Because you got to have Jericho in a big match at Wembley. I mean, that's going to happen. As much as I might have my feelings, he still moves tickets.
He does.
Yeah, and people still love to sing Judas live. So that all works together.
For sure. Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay facing off against the Young Bucks. This one might be one of the ones where it's like my heart tells me Ospreay and Mox just get the win, but then also, do you have a little bit of a moment where possibly there's a bit of dissension like early on? I don't think that would be the case. I just feel like this has got to be an easy win for Mox Ospreay. I think I'm just making it too complicated for myself.
I'm going with Mox and Ospreay losing. The Young Bucks winning, and that is what they use to get their title shot against Cope and Christian at All In.
Okay. So. Got to give it to the name tag team.
Correct. And it helps build dissension. It helps build dissension where everything's not hunky-dory between Mox and Will Ospreay.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like it has to be something leading that way, or like at least Ospreay, maybe he's wondering if Mox's teachings are actually fully working, or if it's maybe whatever.
Yeah.
So, national championship, Mark Davis versus Andrade El Idolo. Put the belt on Andrade. I am going gung-ho for this. I want this, get Andrade a title. I think this would be an awesome thing for him. So, I'm going to go with Andrade.
How you know?
How you know?
All right. I'm definitely going with Andrade. It almost seems, unless MJF interrupts the match, in some way to building to their match at All In, which that's what I think is going to be the match at All In, it would be absolutely insane for him just to lose to Mark Davis.
1,000%.
Yeah, but I do. If you asking me what I think is going to happen, I think MJF's going to run in and get Davis to win, and it's going to help set up Andrade versus MJF at Wembley.
Alrighty. Hikaru Shida defending her TBS championship against Maya World. Just seems like this will be a good first major title defense for Hikaru Shida. So I'll go with Hikaru Shida.
And I like that Maya World did not disappear after Forbidden Door. I gotta give that. That's one of the things is like you got this quote unquote star making performance, and then it would happen, and then sometimes you wouldn't see the person for months after their star making performance. We're not worrying about that. This shows that, to me, it shows that Maya World is someone they see a future in, because they are making sure they use her in the next show, which is honestly not something that they've always done.
Yeah, so the fact that we're actually, taking a surprise hot run from somebody in a tournament and then, still using them afterwards, she's not getting an action Andretti, basically.
Yeah.
Good to see. Now, got to keep it up a little bit, make sure she still gets some good stuff to do. But having her have a TBS championship shot,
I'll just tell you, if you're a Maya World fan, the fact that they booked her 2 pay-per-views in a row, very good sign.
Big deal. It's a
big sign. Yeah, she's going to get the ball and see what happens. Well, this will also tell us something about Shida, because we saw what Mercedes could do. We saw what Mercedes could do with Maya World, and it's just like, it's honestly, in this case, even though we think Shida's going to win, it's her job to help Maya keep her momentum. That's pretty much her assignment in this situation. So she has to go through, make us believe Maya World would have won if it wasn't for Shida.
Right.
Yes.
We have the international championship between Kyle Fletcher and Bandito. Again, I think this match is going to blow everyone's heads out, clear off their body, because these guys are going to wrestle an unreal match. I'm going to have the Protostar retain his title.
Dude, I will tell anybody, if you want to tell me, like, when everybody talks about the future of Kyle Fletcher, I'll truly ask, what in his game needs improvement right now? Mm-hmm. You talk about him like the future. It's like, man, if he only does this. Dude puts on a banger match every time he shows up. He cuts these amazing promos. Like, dude, you want to talk about the build-up? Look at when he started. And he was talking real slow, and everybody's like, this is uncomfortable. And he's gotten so much better, so much more comfortable in his skin. He radiates the leader of the new generation of AEW. And I that's just for lack of a better term. I'm not trying to steal WWF's old shit with the new generation.
No, yeah.
But no, he looks like he is going to be the face of this company very quickly, within the next few years, because everybody's like, wait, but it's like he has the look. He can wrestle at a high level of the AEW working style. He can cut amazing promos. He has a very punchable face. What else are you waiting on Kyle Fletcher? Like, at this point, what are you waiting on? Give him the ball, let him run. Let's see. And with there being so many titles in AEW, when I say give them the run, I'm talking about the spots. I'm talking about the big matches. I don't necessarily need him to be the AEW World Champion right now. He can make this international championship the greatest thing ever and just keep beating people and defending it for a year and make his name that way. I mean, this international title is pretty much been on a who's who in the company. I mean, MJF's had the international title. Will Ospreay's had the international title. Takeshita. And like, he could be, Okada had it. Like, he could be the name for this title. As in, like, why you have your plans in the world title picture, just have him beating as many people as he can as the international champion. So I am very much really excited about this match. I think Kyle Fletcher's absolutely going to win. But good Lord, Bandito's like one of those dudes that I think there's enough of the hardcore Smarky fans that love him, but it's going to be like 10 years after he retired. It's like, did we not appreciate Bandito enough?
Truly.
Dude, I saw him do a standing backflip and turn it into that German, and I was just like, that was insane. I saw it on Collision last week. And so what can he do next? But yeah, and you keep putting him in the spot and he keeps delivering. And one of these times you're going to have Bandito win. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to get that moment for sure. He's going to. And then we go ahead and to the World Tag Team title match between Cage and Copeland and the Death Riders, Claudio, Castagnoli, and Pac. Should be Cage and Cope. Pretty easy right here, just to say that. I think that's about as simple as it gets.
So let me help you out. Death Riders are probably going to come out first. And this is for you in the building and the show running a little long. Cage and Cope's going to come out. If you do not care about Cope's entrance, his entrance is especially long because they turn off the music and sing. This is the time in the show to go to the bathroom. I got you. You're only going to hear this on this fan site. I'm telling you, because more than likely, if you're looking at the card and how it's going to be, the ladder match probably is going to start the show with everybody in the ring. Maybe. Okay. But if you're looking for this period of time, you're in the show and it's a little long. They started an hour early. Shout out Tony Khan. Suggestion from a site, podcast that you've heard. That they maybe listen to because, hour earlier. But when you get down to it, it's like this Cage and Cope's entrance is the perfect time to go pee. Jericho's entrance would be the other time. Because they do the sing-along with the music, you get an extra couple minutes. Everybody comes down to watch it, so the bathrooms are usually empty. That's from your boy.
He just does that to you for you guys too. He doesn't need to be that helpful, but he is. That's what our boy does.
Yeah, that's when you go pee. Right there. I don't really care about either one of those entrances. So I'm out. And just to let you know, the idea came from the Undertaker's entrance from WrestleMania, because I always say once you've seen the Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania, you've seen his entrance.
You've seen his entrance, yes.
Yeah, so I had been to 30, 31, and 32, and I'd seen his entrance. In 33, I was like, God dang it, I got to pee. And his music hits. Yeah, and I'm like, literally, everybody comes out of the bathroom to see the entrance. I literally walk up there, pee, get back to my seat, and he's only halfway. He's still walking. So I'm telling you, that's where the idea came from. You're welcome.
I mean, it makes sense, dude.
It's only if you don't care. Like I say, if you don't care about those type of things, if you not sing along with Cope and sing along with Jericho, go pee.
Boom. But we then go to Tekla versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. This match, I think, is going to be very damn good. I'm going to let Floyd go first on this one.
Dude, I don't think it will. I think we have some powers here of suggestion. I don't think we have the power of suggestion to make a women's match the main event. But this match is the most important match on the card. It absolutely should be the main event. But,
I agree.
But it probably won't be. But that being said, this is where I am. Willow is my favorite women's wrestler. Everyone knows that for a multitude of reasons, mostly her in-ring ability. I love a powerhouse woman. So I love me some Willow in this situation. But this is where this B word that I don't like to use personally, because I believe you get what you get in life. There's no deserve. Everybody works hard. You get what you get. But I truly think, based on her performances, her promos, and everything, Tekla has earned the top spot and earned the top women's spot at All In. So I truly think Tekla deserves to win. But I always heard the original idea was Willow to win the Owen Hart Cup and go on. Tony Khan generally doesn't go away from his plans very often. So prediction, Willow gets the win over Tekla. Willow and it's Mercedes versus Willow at All In. If this was the other company, I'd say Mercedes does the stupid thing, comes in, interferes, and then we get a triple threat match for All In, which in this case, because of how much I think Thekla has earned a spot, I'm not the biggest triple threat person or three-way person. I'm not the biggest three-way match person. But because I think Thekla has earned the spot on this such a level, I would be okay with the three-way match if you say the options are three-way match or Willow win, I would go with three-way match because I just think Thekla has done everything she can, and she has been such a talking point. The camera doesn't go away from her. I think she's kind of earned the right to be in a big match at Wembley.
I think that is a huge moment too for what you said too. I mean, triple threat seems like it would be the more fun option, but that's just because I feel like it just leads to more exciting spots. But yeah, we'll go ahead and I'm going to go with Thekla retains. I think I'm just got a good feeling about it. I'm just going to go with it. So
and I'd be very happy with that. I won't, if you've listened to the show long enough, I want Willow to have the world. I want her to be the longest running world champion. But sometimes, like, even though a complete fan podcast, I look at what I think would be best for AEW instead of, what I want to see. And I just think Tekla's so hot. I think her and Mercedes with Thekla right now is the bigger match.
I get it. Yeah, I get it, honestly. Main event, Kenny Omega. Well, actually, no, because we want Thekla Willow to be the main event. So, final match, Kenny Omega versus Kevin Knight for the AEW World Championship.
So, if any
ain't
match...
gonna be two belts. Kenny Omega, because we are... If this goes and does anything different to blow up what the main event of All in London is going to be, there's going to be riots in the street.
Yes. I will say this about this match. This will be the first time the world title match could steal the show. The reason I mean, because no one expects this to be the best match on the show.
Right.
And Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight, and I'm like, and when I say this, I'm not saying this in a negative way. They have to have a professional ego. They are online. They pay attention. They know that no one's expecting anything of this match. So I truly believe both of them are going to go out there to basically mic drop and give a middle finger to the fans like, oh, you didn't think we could do this. And I truly think that's what's going to happen. So I think they're going to put on an amazing match that we're not expecting, that everybody's going to be talking about next week. And people will be talking about Kevin Knight as the future. And people will be saying Kenny Omega is the best wrestler of our generation. I don't think the result matters as much. I don't think the result matters at all in this situation. This is about the performance. Can they get people like me who thinks they know the finisher, that thinks I've seen the story, I've watched it all, I know what's going to happen? Can they build up that modicum of a doubt with me at some point in that match? Because if they even get a 0.1% doubt in me, I will consider this a masterclass in wrestling. Because right now, I'm at 110% sure Kenny Omega's winning this match.
Yes.
So if they can get me down to 109, this will be a masterclass in professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how confident I feel like we are with this. So.
It's like, so.
But yeah. But that is our AEW Redemption preview and predictions. We just have a couple of other headlines real quickly to mention before we close out this episode.
They will add buy-in matches on Collision. We didn't cover them because they're not adding them to Collision, just to let you know. Just wanted that announced on the show. Now, we didn't forget it, but just they haven't said anything yet. Let's see. What was it? Oh, Ty Mello doing the scrum. Ty Mello apparently asked for her release. Her and Tony Khan, he said he was surprised by it. They had a conversation, and she wanted to step away from wrestling, so he is granting her release. We also heard Anna Jay has re-signed or extended with AEW, so she's there. And once Jungle Boy said he was staying, I just assumed. I know couples do work in different places, but I'm old. I still assume old people shit. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. There was one other thing, like 12 people that got released 90 days ago are available now, including the Motor City Machine Guns and AEW Dynamite and Collision next week's in Detroit. Yeah, that's a thing. Do you think they're going to pull the trigger? Do you think they're going to show up?
What do you think, dog?
I think they'll absolutely be there.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it, right?
Yeah, I just feel like they were announced the release. I think Detroit was announced after it. It just seemed like there's coincidences, and then there's like, at this point, it just seems like common sense.
Right. It just seems like it, right?
Yeah, it's like they're going to show up, and I don't know what they're going to do. Like, if you ask me what they're going to do it All In, I don't know. Because you're going to, apparently, Motor City Machine Guns is this week, and I believe next week is the New Day available. So do you still go with the Young Bucks versus Cope and Christian if that was ever your plan? Where do they work in? Where does FTR work in? Now, for me, Young Bucks, Cope and Christian, FTR ladder match were great. But if you're going with Young Bucks versus Cope and Christian, I would be very much okay with straight up tag match FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns. But we will see. We will see. We will see. I don't think there's a lot of ways that they can go wrong. But the people on the list, there's a former Zoe Stark. I could see her working ROH, or I honestly think she's going to end up in TNA. The reason being, it's her and Sonya, the chick that played Sonya Deville, Daria Baronato. They're tight, so I imagine Zoe Serrano is going to end up in TNA, but who knows? There's Zelina Vega, man. I know she's attached or married to Aleister Black or Malachi Black or whatever his name is. But good Lord, I have never, like, the way I feel about Obafemi the first time he walked to the ring doing the Oba strut is absolutely how I felt about Andrade and Zelina when they were together in NXT. I thought they were a $1 billion couple, and I just think we don't have any of this stuff if they just stayed together.
Right.
Like they had so much chemistry. You could not tell me that they weren't together in real life. It was like they just had so much chemistry. So I don't think it'll happen because, I mean, if she's going to work with a guy I assume it'll be her husband. But, right. Man, like in Floyd's fantasy booking world, dude, she was what was best for Andrade at the time. I mean, he's doing great right now without anybody. But, God, sure. I personally love that act so much when they were together.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think that's going to close it out for this episode of All Things Elite, guys. Redemption this Sunday in Montreal should be a fun time. Hope you guys enjoy the show. If you enjoy this podcast, we would appreciate it if you rate, review, subscribe, turn automatic downloads on. And then if you download us, whether it's on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us on, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. We are at ATElitePod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Link is in the description of this show. With that, I will pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home on this lead-up show to Redemption and take us home on this episode of All Things Elite.
This is the go-home show.
The go-home.
Yes. dude, thank you everybody for listening, tuning into the show, especially whoever from AEW that tunes into our show. Thank you, especially. But seriously, it's hot out there. Record-breaking temperatures. It was I think it got up to 105. It felt like 105 at some point here. So make sure you're staying cool. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're watching your electric bill because, that's what's going to happen. But take care of each other. If you know people are struggling or if it gets so hot, it actually can break the air conditioning. Open up your doors for a few hours until they can get their shit fixed. Just be of service of people. It's just like be of service. It's especially during this time of the year. Winter's terrible. The heart of winter and the heart of summer is the worst time to be unhomed or just to be struggling with like power issues and all that stuff. So if you see your opportunity to be great, go out there and be great. Or you see an opportunity to go with the show name, be elite, go out there and be elite. And take care of each other. So shout out to all my people, all our people that regularly listen. We appreciate you all. Again, I hope people listen to the show and realize we don't really take ourselves too seriously. But we just enjoy talking wrestling, and I enjoy spending an hour to two with one of my friends, Austin, every week. And next week we get to watch wrestling together. So right now life is really good, but it can always be better. So with that, I will leave you how I always leave you, whether it's home, work, or school. Always do your best to be elite.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.